Ahmahrah buried her mother on a hot Friday afternoon. By Sunday night, she was back in her small apartment in Manchester, trying to sleep, trying to forget the sound of the coffin closing. At exactly 12:03 a.m., her phone vibrated. One WhatsApp voice note from Mom, Heart. Ahmahrah's breath stopped. Her mother was dead. She had seen the body. She had thrown the last sand on the grave herself. Hands shaking, she pressed play. Static filled the room. Then her mother's voice whispered, "Ahmahrah, my daughter, if you are hearing this, don't trust your husband. He knows what happened to me." The voice note ended. A second message dropped immediately. "Delete this before he sees it, or you will follow me into the grave." Ahmahrah slowly turned toward the bedroom door because her husband Kunle was standing there and he was staring directly at her phone. Ahmahrah did not sleep that night. Kunle kept asking what she was listening to, but she lied and said it was just a message from her cousin in Lagos. He watched her for a long moment, his eyes searching her face, before finally going back to bed. But Ahmahrah stayed awake, sitting on the edge of the sofa, staring at her phone like it might bite her. Her mother's voice still echoed in her ears. "Don't trust your husband." It made no sense. Her mother, Mama Efunanya, was strong even in sickness. The doctor said it was a sudden stroke, natural, painful but natural. And yet, Ahmahrah remembered something. The night before her mother died, Mama had called her from the village. The line was weak, full of crackling sounds. "Ahmahrah," her mother said softly, "if anything happens to me, remember what I told you about the call cut off." Ahmahrah tried calling back, but the phone went straight to voicemail. The next morning, her uncle called with the news. Mama was gone. At the time, it felt like bad network. But now, sitting alone in the dim Manchester night, it felt like a warning she never heard. Her phone suddenly vibrated again. Ahmahrah jumped. Another WhatsApp message from Mom, Heart. Her fingers felt cold as she opened it. This time, it was not a voice note. It was a picture. A blurry picture of an old wooden box. Ahmahrah leaned closer. Her heart began to pound. She knew that box. It sat under her mother's bed, back in the village. Mama never allowed anyone touch it. As a child, Ahmahrah once tried to open it, and her mother slapped her hand away sharply. "Some things are not for children," Mama said, "and some secrets must never travel far from home." Under the picture, a short text appeared. "He is looking for this." Ahmahrah's stomach tightened. He? Before she could think, 3 dots appeared on the screen again. Another voice note. Ahmahrah hesitated. From the bedroom, she could hear Kunle turning in his sleep. Slowly, slowly, she pressed play and held the phone close to her ear. Her mother's voice came out weaker this time, almost like she was whispering from inside a tunnel. "Ahmahrah, listen carefully. The box contains what your father hid, the truth about our family and why they swore the oath. Don't let Kunle find it. He didn't marry you by accident. Ahmahrah's chest felt tight. Didn't marry you by accident? What did that even mean? Her mind raced through memories. How Kunle appeared suddenly in her life 3 years ago at a Nigerian community event in Birmingham. How charming he was. How quickly everything moved. Engagement in 6 months, marriage before the year ended. At the time, it felt like destiny. Now, it felt like something else. A floorboard creaked behind her. Ahmahrah froze. She slowly lowered the phone from her ear. Kunle's voice came softly from the darkness. Who are you listening to at this time of night? Ahmahrah turned. Kunle was no longer in the bedroom door. He was standing in the living room doorway, watching her. His eyes dropped to her phone screen, and at that exact moment, the phone vibrated again. A new message from Mom Heart popped up. He is behind you. Don't let him touch that phone. Ahmahrah's blood ran cold because Kunle was already walking toward her and reaching out his hand. Give me the phone, Ahmahrah, he said calmly. Ahmahrah's fingers tightened around her phone. Kunle's hand was inches away now. Give me the phone, Ahmahrah, he repeated, his voice calm, too calm. Her heart pounded so loudly she was sure he could hear it. For one long second, neither of them moved. Then Ahmahrah forced a small laugh. It's nothing, she said quickly. Just my cousin sending family gossip. You know how they are. Kunle didn't smile. Instead, he stretched his hand further. Let me see. Something cold slid down Ahmahrah's spine. In that moment, the phone vibrated again in her hand. Both of them heard it. Both of them looked down. Without thinking, Ahmahrah pulled the phone to her chest and stood up suddenly. I said it's nothing, she snapped, louder than she meant. The silence that followed felt heavy. Kunle's eyes narrowed slightly. Not angry, just watching, calculating. Then slowly he stepped back. All right, he said softly. No need to shout. He turned and walked toward the kitchen as if nothing had happened. Ahmahrah stayed frozen until she heard the tap running. Only then did she look at her phone. Another message from Mom Heart. Her hands trembled as she opened it. This time it was only one sentence. Check inside the box before sunrise. They must not open it first. Ahmahrah swallowed. They? Who was they? She suddenly felt the apartment was too small, the walls too close. From the kitchen, she heard Kunle moving dishes slowly like he was thinking. Her mind raced. The box was still in the village, under her mother's bed, thousands of miles away. Unless her breath caught. After the burial, her uncle insisted she take some of her mother's belongings back with her. Clothes, old photographs, a small travel bag she hadn't even unpacked yet. That bag. It was still sitting near the hallway cupboard. Ahmahrah's chest tightened as a terrible thought formed. What if... Slowly, trying not to make noise, she walked toward the cupboard. Every step felt loud. From the kitchen, the tap stopped running. Ahmahrah froze. Silence. Then Kunle's voice floated out casually. Are you not going to sleep? Her throat felt dry. In a minute, she replied, forcing calm into her voice. She opened the cupboard door. The travel bag sat exactly where she left it. Old, brown, zipped halfway. Her hands shook as she knelt and pulled it out. For a moment, she hesitated. The apartment felt strangely cold. She could almost hear her mother's whisper again. Don't let Kunle find it. Ahmahrah slowly opened the bag. Inside were folded wrappers, photo albums, and beneath them, her breath stopped. The wooden box. The same carved patterns, the same dark polished surface. It was here, in her apartment. Ahmahrah stared at it, her heart hammering. How had her uncle packed this without telling her? Or had her mother planned this? Her fingers hovered over the lid. Should she open it? The phone buzzed again in her other hand. Another message. Open it now, before he comes. Ahmahrah's pulse roared in her ears. She placed the phone beside her and slowly lifted the lid. The hinges creaked softly. Inside lay 3 things: a whole folded letter, a small red bundle, and a black and white photograph. Ahmahrah picked up the photograph first. Her stomach dropped. It was a picture of her parents, much younger, standing beside a group of village elders. But that wasn't what shocked her. Standing at the edge of the photo, smiling, looking exactly the same as he does today, was Kunle. The floor behind her creaked. Ahmahrah's blood froze. A shadow fell across the cupboard. Kunle's voice came low and close behind her. So you found the box.
So you found the box. Kunle's voice was low behind her. Ahmahrah's blood turned cold. She slowly stood up, still holding the old photograph. Her hands were shaking. You were there, with my parents. Kunle stepped closer. Yes, he said calmly. Her chest tightened. My mother said I shouldn't trust you. For the first time, something flickered in his eyes. Not kindness, not protection. Irritation. You shouldn't be reading old nonsense, he replied. Ahmahrah picked up the letter with trembling fingers. I'm going to read it. Kunle didn't stop her. He just watched. She unfolded the letter. My daughter, if you are reading this, then I am no longer alive. The man you married is not who he says he is. He was there the night your father died. Ahmahrah's heart slammed. Her eyes moved faster. Your father discovered that Kunle and his partners were secretly taking ownership of our family land. When your father refused to sign the papers, there was an accident, but it was not an accident. Ahmahrah's breath became shallow. Her father had died in a car crash. That's what they were told. Her hands trembled as she continued. I stayed silent to protect you. But when Kunle returned to the village years later and began asking about you, I knew he had not finished what he started. The room felt smaller, harder to breathe. Ahmahrah slowly lifted her eyes to Kunle. You killed my father. Kunle sighed, as if she had just accused him of something small. You don't understand how the world works, he said quietly. Her stomach dropped. So it's true? He didn't deny it. Instead, he walked toward the box and picked up the black and white photograph. You see this photograph? Your father thought he could outsmart powerful men. He refused to cooperate. Her brows pulled together. What are you talking about? Kunle studied her face carefully. Then he laughed softly. You really don't know, do you? A cold wave moved through her chest. No, what? Kunle stepped closer. Your father wasn't just a respected man in the village. He owned lands, estates, properties in Lagos, Abuja, even outside Nigeria. Ahmahrah blinked. That's not true. It is, Kunle said calmly. Your father was extremely wealthy, quietly wealthy. He hid most of it under different names. He trusted very few people. Her heart began to pound harder. No, that can't be right. They had lived comfortably, yes, but not like that. Her mother never mentioned estates abroad, never mentioned large investments. You're lying, she whispered. Kunle's eyes hardened. I was there when the documents were discussed. I saw the property maps. I saw the foreign accounts. Your father was sitting on generational wealth. Her stomach twisted. And you think men in power will ignore that? Land in and out of Nigeria, prime locations, development contracts. Your father became a target the moment he refused to cooperate. Her throat went dry. All these years, she murmured. You were kept in the dark, Kunle finished, for your protection. Your father and mother made sure you never understood the full extent of what you would inherit. The room felt like it was spinning. So when he died, she said slowly, it wasn't random, Kunle replied. It was business. The word hit her like a slap. Business. Her father's death reduced to a transaction. And my mother, she asked, her voice barely audible. Kunle's jaw tightened slightly. She started asking too many questions. Ahmahrah staggered back as if he had struck her. My mother didn't die from sudden illness. She had collapsed suddenly. No clear explanation. You did something to her. Her voice broke. Kunle didn't answer. Silence was enough. Tears filled Ahmahrah's eyes. Why marry me? She demanded. Now came the truth. Kunle looked at her carefully. Because everything your father refused to sign now belongs to you. Her world tilted. The land, the documents, the inheritance. You thought if you married me, you could finally get it. Kunle gave a small, humorless smile. You're intelligent. I always liked that about you. Her hands clenched. You used me. I secured my investment. Ahmahrah's heart pounded violently. But you made one mistake, she said suddenly. Kunle's eyes narrowed. What mistake? She slowly lifted her phone. I've been recording since you walked in. For the first time, he moved fast, but not fast enough. Ahmahrah stepped back. My mother warned me, she said, voice shaking but strong. She said, don't let you see the box. So I was careful. Kunle lunged toward her, but in that exact moment, loud pounding hit the apartment door. Bang, bang, bang! Police, open the door! Kunle froze. His face changed completely. Not calm, not controlled, panicked. Ahmahrah swallowed. When my mother first sent the message, I called my cousin in the village. He already suspected you. They've been investigating the land transfers. Kunle stared at her. You planned this, he hissed. Tears rolled down her cheeks. No, she whispered. You did. Years ago. The pounding grew louder. Police officers burst into the apartment. Within minutes, Kunle was in handcuffs. As they led him away, he looked back at her. You think this is the end? Ahmahrah's voice was steady now. It's the beginning. The door shut behind them. Silence filled the apartment. Ahmahrah sank to the floor beside the wooden box. Her hands trembled. Her mother had not been paranoid. She had been protecting her. The whisper, the warning, the secret, it had saved her life. Ahmahrah looked at the photograph one last time, then placed it back inside the box. This time, she wasn't afraid. She had the truth, and Kunle no longer had power over her. Sometimes the greatest danger isn't a stranger, it's the person you trust the most. Ahmahrah almost lost everything, not because she was weak, but because she believed love was enough. But the truth? Love without wisdom is dangerous. Not everyone who stands beside you stands for you. Pay attention to the signs. Protect your inheritance. Protect your peace. And never ignore a mother's warning. Sometimes, the quiet voice that warns you is the one trying to save your life.